What's going on, my fellow A-Plusers? Welcome back once again to a brand new episode of A Plus Morphinominal, your weekly stop for your Power Rangers and Super Sentai review and news right here on our YouTube page, A Plus Morphinominal. We're also streaming on our A Plus Opinions page on Facebook, along with Twitch as well, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you, everybody from across the internet, certainly joining us here once again. I know some of you are getting used to the idea of us being back on YouTube. So hopefully this is something we can all get a little bit more familiar with, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much for joining us, whether you are joining us from YouTube, Facebook, or over on Twitch, guys. We always appreciate you stopping by and certainly showing your support. And of course, listen, kicking off the week, ladies and gentlemen, happy Super Sentai Monday. No case of the Mondays here, because we always know we can certainly rely on some Kiramager to certainly hopefully a wronged Monday, or at least continue along with a great Monday here. So thank you very much, guys. We're going to be getting into episode number 21 today of Kiramager. We're very much close to sort of that halfway point for this season, and the momentum's starting to build back up. This is something that I was really hoping for after last week's episode that we talked about. Like, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of the episode, I certainly enjoyed it, but I was really waiting for an episode with some oomph, if you know what I mean, to really punch me in the face and really start pushing us along into another major storyline. And it seems episode number 21 certainly is a hint at that. So thank you very much, Kiramager, for another great episode here this week, one that I was really, really pleased with. If there was anything overall that I really enjoyed, I really was a fan of just the time traveling aspect of this week's episode. I thought the writing for this week was pretty stellar, honestly, not only from just the flashback sequences, but especially with the Mabusheena and Taka stuff, and then of course just the magnificent writing, I thought, for the Marsk Beast this week, the fisherman pole Marsk, and really just how they utilize the idea and concept of time traveling this week. So some really great elements, I thought, to be quite honest with you. But before we even break down this week's episode, let me go ahead and see who's in the live chat, who's joining us. We got Blossom. What's up, L'Oreal? Good to certainly see you here. Blossom is certainly back with us here on YouTube. Not Ultra certainly has found his way back to us here also on YouTube. Sexy Boy certainly coming through. I believe that's AJ. I don't remember. I don't remember. He's got so many names, to be quite honest with you. And of course, Alec. What's up, Alec? Appreciate you stopping by over on our Facebook page. I believe I saw you did subscribe to us again over on YouTube. So, hey, however you certainly want to go ahead and submit your view and watch our channel, man, we appreciate it either way. There you go. Forever grin, man. Appreciate you stopping by on YouTube. It's going to get a little bit more. I'm going to have to get used to this, guys. I'm going to have to get used to this. Listen, if you guys want to follow us on social media, certainly go ahead and do so right down here, A Plus Opinions, guys. We do have our own Twitch page, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. So definitely go ahead and join us there. I am still kind of on the fence as to whether or not I want to do a separate Twitter handle for A Plus Morphinominal. I'm still kind of up in the air. I am in the process of looking for, like, if I were to do that, I am kind of in the process of trying to see if I can find somebody to be like a social media manager for that Twitter account, somebody that would pretty much just kind of control it, if you will. So we'll see if that's something that I wind up doing for A Plus Morphinominal on the Twitter side, but I'm at least glad that we were able to establish a YouTube page here as well. So if you guys are interested, please go ahead and subscribe, guys. We got to go ahead and build up that subscriber base once again. So hit that subscribe button along with that bell notification, so when we do drop brand new videos, guys, you will certainly be notified. And listen, guys, if you are new to this channel, this is just simply a new channel, or yes, another channel you want to add to your Power Rangers and Super Sentai stuff. We like to highlight news and reviews from throughout the week here from Power Rangers and Super Sentai. So if you are looking for an additional home and you love having like a deep dive into a ton of this stuff, that's what we're here about, guys, trying to give you that A+ content, our A+ opinions in regards to everything Power Rangers and Super Sentai. Sentai. So if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, guys, along with that bell notification. We definitely appreciate it. And if you love our content, if you love this video, hit that thumbs up, guys. We definitely want to go ahead and let YouTube recognize our work and certainly recommend it to other people. So with that business out of the way, guys, let's go ahead and get into this particular week's episode, man. We're going to talk about Kiramager, episode number 21 this week, as the curse has finally caught up to everybody. Kind of the idea of this week's episode is pretty much in the midst of Takamichi trying to hunt down for yet another Granterstone. The curse sort of catches up finally to Mabusheena. We see the crest of Udon appearing on her right eye, which is one of the aspects of the curse that was certainly going to be going ahead and pop up. One that we weren't quite sure if it was going to happen or not, right? Like, yes, we kind of understood that the curse was kind of planted on Mabusheena's mother, the queen, but it's kind of been a big question mark as to whether or not that curse would kind of continue down the lineage. And unfortunately, for Mabusheena and the rest of the Kiramager, the answer is yes. So it does seem as though also, according to Takamichi here, while he is hunting for it, for the Granterstone, we do see here that the Granterstone is gone. I love how we immediately get Taka and Shiguru sort of team up in here. Shiguru, who's kind of still hanging out in the area because they did pick up a faint sign that a Marsk beast was there, or at least somebody from Jotunheim was there. So that's why Shiguru was certainly on the scene. When Taka shows up, he finds out, or at least the way that I put it together, it feels very much easy to just kind of connect the pieces, that it was in fact the Jotunheim monster that wind up taking the Granterstone here this week. And unfortunately for them, the Granterstone's missing, and also unfortunately for Mabusheena on their field trip to the aquarium, this is when everything certainly sort of strikes for them. So the hunt for the Granterstone definitely continues, and it winds up leading us to meeting up with the Marsk beast this week and the Fisherman Marsk. Is it Fisherman or Fisher Pole Marsk? Yeah, I think it's the Fisher Pole Marsk, because the guy literally had a fishing pole like as his nose. Like, he could literally take it off and sort of use it as a weapon. Pretty neat stuff, but I was a little bit confused and scratching my head as to why this particular character was sort of soaking wet, had like a grand opening sign kind of like still stuck to him and things like that. But this is really where the idea and the concept of the Granterstone finally comes into place, because during this battle, we do come to find out that the Marsk beast does have the Granterstone in his possession. And the one thing that we come to learn about this Granterstone here this week is that it has the ability to manipulate time. I believe it's called the Granterstone Reversia. It pretty much reverses time. I believe it's Moryu who winds up saying that you can adjust time or manipulate it or whatever the case may be. And we come to find out that that's exactly what the Marsk is doing here. The idea that, according to the episode, August 30th, he opens up the dimension, uses his fishing pole to, like, through this time portal to yank people out of that time. And then I think he gets thrown into it because he gets pulled. This is where the Kiramagers are in fact fighting. It's a pretty cool loop, to be quite honest with you. Like, for Shiguru to be smart enough to pick up on the idea that he remembers seeing the pamphlet. August 30th comes around, it's raining, he remembers the store location. The idea that the Kiramagers actually go to that location and find the Marsk beast and the Fisher Pole Marsk coming back from his adventures in the past that they literally just encountered him in, I honestly thought was pretty brilliant in regards to storytelling. For me, it really made it quite fun. And I think it also goes to showcase just how smart the Kiramagers really are. That little things like that aren't just going to go over their head. They've got a ton of great and smart people and talented people, mind you, on that team. So to see Shiguru really flexing his brain muscle this week and kind of putting two and two together, I thought was really great. Again, the ability of having that Granterstone to go ahead and do the time traveling aspect worked really well in here, honestly. So I thought that was pretty neat to see the Kiramager sort of catching him as now. Like, the idea that he gets pulled through the time portal, has to face the Kiramagers, and then once he exits, thinking he escapes and goes back to August 30th, he literally plants himself back into the Kiramagers, who have now sort of caught up with this time loop, if you will. And so I thought it was rather brilliant. I really did. The one thing that stands out to me is I'm becoming a really big fan of these Granterstones. From just its ability that we saw from the very first one, the Granterstone that had the ability to for destruction, this one with reversal of time. It has me kind of scratching my head as to what the abilities for the next two Granterstones certainly are going to be. But Takamichi's quest certainly has been cut in half. But the problem now is Takamichi has 7 days in order to go ahead and save his sister. Can Takamichi find the rest of the Granterstones in a matter of a week? We'll certainly see what happens there. But the curse, guys, the curse of Mabusheena is really why Takamichi is finding or trying to find these particular Granterstones. So let's talk about this curse here, because one of the really great aspects of this week's episode, you guys know this already about me, I'm a sucker for a great flashback. And if there's anything that's, listen, Kiramager does a ton of things right. One of those things is how they tell their story sort of in these flashback modes. The realization here for Mabusheena to realize that something is wrong with her and she's not quite sure what's going on. And having the rest of the team now realize if there's any time to tell Mabusheena what's going on, it's now. And I will say this, I'm super thankful that they decided to go ahead and tell her the truth now, instead of trying to continue to lie to her or to try and continue to not necessarily ignore her, but just kind of blow it off like it's no big deal. So I'm glad that they actually opened up to her, told her the truth, instead of her not finding out until it was very last minute. I mean, granted, officially her life is sort of in jeopardy, so I guess you have to tell Mabusheena. But regardless, I feel like at any point in time they could have lied to her, but I'm glad that they certainly didn't. And if there's anybody that I wanted to tell this story, I'm glad that it was Fire. For me, Fire does add sort of a little bit more credibility to the story, just because we know how long Fire has been around for, right? Considering the fact that he was sort of the official Kiramagers for King Oradin himself. They've been through a heck of a lot together. If there's any a person that you, or a person or a thing that you want to get your planet of Crystallian history from, it's probably Fire. So I'm glad that he was the one that definitely told the story here. But he winds up telling us a story of the witch, Numajo, the witch of the stagnant sea. Numajo is her name. We come to find out that Numajo is sent over to planet Crystallia. She's now been sort of promoted as the army of Yodan commander. She's now a commander. And I guess one of her first tasks is to go ahead and go to planet Crystallia to go ahead and I guess put a curse on the entire planet. But this is where King Oradin and his special team winds up coming in to kind of go ahead and save the day. The special team, which I thought was great, was King Oradin, Takamichi showing up also, and of course the queen herself, which I honestly did not expect to see the queen get into some action. But the fact that we even saw the queen getting into it, I thought was brilliant, honestly, right? Like, not showing that she's just a pretty face that sort of sits on the throne, that she does not mind getting her hands dirty and protecting her planet and her husband. So I thought that was really cool to kind of see the queen step up in that manner. So we get to see our special team of those three, along with not only the red Kiramagers in Fire, but also Aqua Kiramagers, the one of the blue stones, as we get to see them. And I think they say the reason they bring the blue Kiramagers along, or the Aqua Stone, is because it has the ability to protect them from curses. Unfortunately for us, in the middle of the battle, King Oradin winds up losing it, and we do see eventually Numajo getting sort of the upper hand with the assistance of her sister, mind you. What was her name? Let me see if I thought I wrote her name down. Minjo is her name. So we got twin witch sisters here, Numajo and Minjo. But we do see that it winds up she winds up incapacitating the Aqua Stone. I believe she winds up spitting like some of her own poison on it, really keeping it away from King Oradin. And King Oradin has no way to protect himself. And this is how Numajo winds up putting a curse on King Oradin before Oradin winds up sort of slashing her down. I thought the story was brilliant. I especially thought that the special effects in here were stellar, to be quite honest with you. There's something about just the darkness of the scene, the dark sky, the way, like for some reason, it just made all the special effects just sort of pop that much more. Seeing Numajo and King Oradin go toe-to-toe was fantastic. Seeing exactly how Numajo put the spell on King Oradin and how it now translates down to the women in his life that he certainly loves, taking out the queen in 7 days, and now potentially taking out Mabusheena in 7 days also. So guys, I thought the storytelling in here was brilliant, from just the use of time travel to giving us that flashback and full story about this curse from Numajo and exactly how it affects this particular royal family now, I think is brilliant. But one of the things that really kind of stands out to me, especially towards the end of this episode, we see Taka thrilled that he has the Granterstone back and wants to talk to Mabusheena about it, but he winds up leaving the team in the middle or just before they start going against the huge Marsk beast that we wind up getting here this week. That definitely starts causing them some troubles. I honestly thought the design was pretty cool of seeing the gigantic Marsk beast. The idea that its head is literally like a ship and it's going through the city on its roads like it's going through the sea. I thought the design was really, really cool. But we are getting to the point now where the Kiramagers seemingly have found perhaps a villain or Marsk beast that may be too difficult for them to certainly handle, because by the end of this episode, we see them getting their ass kicked. And I'm thinking to myself, where is Takamichi? Like, why isn't Takamichi there? Yet Takamichi is thrilled to be able to finally show Mabusheena, hey, we got number 2 of this Granterstone instead of number 4. And I love that Mabusheena honestly kind of puts him in his place, kind of starts explaining to him, I don't want to say explaining to him, but I guess the realization of what's truly important, right? The idea that I get that you want to be a hero for me, but I want you to be a hero for everyone, right? Like, it shouldn't just be me that you're concerned about. You should be wanting to save the city and save your fellow friends and things like that. And I'm sure Taka will probably jump back onto that opportunity to go ahead and help his friends out. But what I loved here is the realization of just, I think Takamichi understanding that Garza has had the upper hand in this and in his mind for the longest time. You know, one of the questions that I have been asking myself leading up to this is the idea of, why did Taka leave Planet Crystallia in the first place, right? Like, why wasn't he there in the beginning? And the big answer to that is that his quest for the Granterstones, his quest to go ahead and leave Planet Crystallia so he can hopefully save his sister. But it's not as simple as that, right? It's not as simple as the idea was Taka's alone. No, it was not Taka's alone. Apparently, Garza had a huge role to play in that, getting into his ear as Garza seemingly has done. I mean, goodness, we've seen this already in this season about how Garza has gotten into Taka's ear, how he's sort of putting out those ideas of influence, right? Trying to lure Taka over to the Jotunheim side this entire season, right? The idea that Mabusheena sort of puts Taka in this place and is like, it's that same foolishness that of you running off to go ahead and search for these treasures when people are in danger and need your assistance. And it's that foolishness that you allowed Garza to kind of get into your head about. And I love the fact that she puts that all into realization for him, because then we even get a cool shot of Garza sort of laughing. And in the background, you just see a collage of this Planet Crystallia destruction, if you will. And I think, again, it continues to show just how personal this story is between, excuse me, just how personal this story is between Taka and Garza, or just Garza and just the royal family in general. The fact that it's been Garza this entire time that's been talking into his ear, influencing him, right? One of the reasons why we've been asking ourselves, why was the takeover of Crystalia so easy? It's because Garza convinced Takamichi to get out of there, right? He should have been a hero for his own planet, but he started worrying so much about just one person and forgot about the masses. And unfortunately for him, that brought the destruction of Planet Crystalia. And now he has that opportunity to prove himself once again, right? I feel like this is the theme for Takamichi, to certainly sort of prove himself that he can be that hero, that he has to kind of stop shrinking his mind and his focus on, I don't want to say small things, because they are imperative, they are important to him. But he also has to understand that there are bigger pictures out there, that sometimes you maybe have to make that willing sacrifice, that yes, while I do want to save my sister, I do have to be that hero and make sure I protect as many people and save as many people as I possibly can. And I think it's a really interesting dilemma for Taka, and a really great theme for him for this season, to see if Takamichi will become the hero that he needs to be. And instead of being sort of foolishly, or I should say, foolishly guided by all the wrong things that maybe Garza has kind of force-fed him into his mind. So I absolutely loved it. So I thought that little brief little interaction between Mabusheena and Takamichi said a lot, and it definitely went a really long way also. I haven't had the quick honorable mention. I haven't had the opportunity to check out the preview for next week's episode, but I'm having a feeling that we're probably going to be seeing the King Express Zabun, or the new Zabun mecha here in just a little bit. The fact that we start off this week's episode with like a little education on sharks and things like that, I thought was a cool nod to the idea that yes, the Zabun is a shark theme, if I'm not mistaken. I believe the train has literally a shark head at the end. So when I saw this, I was thinking, okay, they're easily teasing the idea of Zabuns definitely going to be happening here. I love the fact too that this wasn't its own enclosed episode, that it kind of left very much on a to be continued, right? Like a little bit of a cliffhanger to see what's going to happen next week. But I'm definitely getting that feeling that that's what they're building up to. The idea of the Aqua Karame Stone, I wouldn't be surprised if that's connected to Zabun. We even I think Tommy Tomo even made reference in this episode about, oh man, I wish we had the King Express around, or where's the King Express when you need them, because they need something that's able to attack and move fast. So it's coming, guys. If it doesn't come in next week's episode, I honestly would be really surprised, but definitely look out for that. But yeah, guys, I thought this episode was really, really solid. Again, from the great flashbacks to the great storytelling of the battle between King Oradin and Numajo, the Witch of the Stagnant Sea. I thought that was cool. Seeing more of the Granterstones, learning about them, and the usage of the time traveling, I thought was really stellar this week. I really have no down parts to talk about this week's episode. Honestly, I thought it was really, really stellar, and a really great change of pace from next week's episode, because now I feel like we're really into a pretty satisfying storyline arc that we'll hopefully get here within the next episode or two, sort of thing. But I'm loving how episode 21 certainly started this off. But guys, listen, at the end of the day, this is simply just my A+ opinion. At the end of the day, I want to know yours. So let me know what you guys thought about this week's episode of Kiramager in the live chat or the comment section box below. And with that out of the way, guys, let me go ahead and jump over into this comment section and see what some of you guys are saying here. Seems like you guys have been pretty active over here, so I appreciate it. Let's see if you have talked about this week's episode. Let's start off with Blossom here, because she likes to get to these comments early here whenever she can. She says the episode was pretty good, but I'm turbo worried about poor Mabusheena. Yeah, I don't know the direction in which this season is going to go. It is one of those things where I don't know if well, like, will they really kill off Mabusheena? Are we going to get that dark in here? I mean, we already lost the King Oradin. It'll be interesting to see if they don't pull any punches, or if we're gonna have a happy ending for Mabusheena and Takamichi. Like I probably would be pretty heartbroken if Mabusheena did not make it through this episode. I mean, if they kill her off, I'm not gonna complain, honestly. But I think it would be a really ballsy and bold move for them to certainly do. I mean, when we talk about pulling on somebody's heartstrings, mission accomplished. So we'll see what happens with Mabusheena in here, but keeping my fingers crossed that they certainly do save her. Blossom says, from the way Shiguru used that sword, I have a feeling my favorite Sentai Cutie Pie in red influenced his Kara mentality again. I don't know if Juro influences Kara mentality again. I feel like, if anything, Shiguru has kind of already been showcasing that he's growing in this Kara mentality. Like, I feel like they probably are a training for sure. Like I don't want to say he didn't influence him again. I just think that his influence originally from that first episode is still very much sort of carrying over. Like, I don't believe Shiguru and Red had a conversation, or Juro practice this particular move with him. I just think the influence that Juro had on him very early on in this season has just stuck with Shiguru, and now he's taking his own personal time to grow himself as a Kiramager and checking out brand new sort of techniques. So that's kind of where I'm definitely feeling at for sure. But I do think Juro's inspiration certainly comes from the very first few episodes for sure. And you also say, I still say Oradin is alive. Who knows? I hope that he is. I hope that he is. Hey, Jinsaku, what's up, Jinsaku? It's Jay Savage over from Time for Toku. What's up? Appreciate you coming through. I'm not sure if you had the opportunity to check out this week's episode, but I hope you did. I hope you did. Forever, Grin says it's gonna kill me. I forget her name, but it's a dog. You're talking about Gadget. Did somebody see Gadget in the back? I think it was Blossom. Yeah, that's Gadget. That's my lab and pit mix doggy. She's 9 years old, but yeah, her name is Gadget. Blossom says, when Fire butted in trying to explain the curse, sure, it had to be said, but still, I like how Juro's face was like, what the heck, Fire? Yeah, I wasn't sure if that face from Juro was like, what the heck, as in like, why'd you interrupt me? Or like, was it a what the heck, like a like that expression of like, was it, did you ignore me, or don't tell her sort of thing? Like, I can't believe you're opening your mouth and telling her sort of thing. So wasn't quite sure which one it was, but yeah, it definitely made me chuckle a little bit. Not Ultra says Kiramager was really good this week. I really like how the Kiramager has been pacing itself, because while there may be some fillers here and there, this show always finds itself back to the main plot. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. And even with the episodes that are a little lighter, I feel like they're, I don't want to say few and far between, but I feel like you said, the pacing is great, right? Like, we may get 2-3 episodes like that, but then boom, we get ourselves a nice little chunk of good story. Then maybe 1 or 2, boom, a pretty solid. Like, I've really enjoyed every episode with the exception of maybe 1. But like, I've thought that they've all been relatively solid. And even though that some of the episodes have been lighter than others, it's not like we get like 6 or 7 of them in a row before we actually get to something good, right? I feel like they're definitely breaking it up for sure. And even those latter episodes, while they may not be strong plot devices to get the overall story sort of moving forward, they still tend to kind of give you further development for these characters and seeing their growth and learning a little bit more about them. So I think that they're really handling themselves well. So I definitely agree with you there, Not Ultra. Forever Grin says it still feels super long knowing there's 50 something episodes. I'm kind of curious how many episodes we're getting this year. Are we getting 50? Is it 48? Is it 46? If you guys know how many episodes of Kiramager we're having, definitely let me know. Blossom says, hope once the Rangers go back in time that the gang find the Aqua Stone too. Oh, I'm assuming maybe I think you might be talking about something I haven't seen in the preview or something. Now Ultra says, when they had the Aqua Karame Stone, if I didn't follow scans, probably would have thought there would be been a Aqua Ranger added to the team. Maybe there will be one in the last quarter of the show, and if they do, I would want it to be Mabusheena, but I'm pretty sure the Aqua Karame Stone will become Mashin Zabyun. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if that whole entire Karame Stone, similar to how Takamichi transforms, I'm wondering if the Aqua Karame Stone will transform into like just grow as a bigger stone and then transform sort of from that into maybe its own Zord, into its own train line or whatever the case may be. If I had to guess, if I had to choose, yeah, I would love to see Mabusheena become sort of like an Aqua Ranger for the Kiramagers. I think that'd be cool. Alex says they really need to deal with Garza, because if I learn anything about the main general, it's going to be sticky. Yeah, I don't want to say they haven't had their opportunity to go after Garza, but I feel like, yeah, maybe they just haven't had that one opportunity where the whole team can kind of go after him. But yeah, Garza definitely feels very much like the number one general here. Like, I'm not feeling like there's somebody else bigger behind him, but maybe there is. If there is, we haven't really been hinted at that really. But yeah, they definitely need to deal with Garza at some point in time for sure. Blossom says Garza is so going to pay for messing with Takamichi's head. Probably. I would not doubt that at all. Alex says, I liked seeing the queen. Yeah, me too. I really did. I was wondering when we were going to finally get to her. I'm hoping that this isn't the last that we've seen of the queen. I wouldn't mind seeing her in other flashback moments. Like, for me, I really would love to see what her relationship was like with Mabusheena. I feel like even though Mabusheena was relatively younger, it would be cool to just kind of see how the queen certainly was like as a mom before having that curse sort of put on her. But I'm glad that they showcased the queen here in her fighting style like that, working with her staff and stuff. Again, showcasing that the queen, not just looking pretty on the throne, but that she doesn't mind getting her hands dirty and kicking some ass when she certainly needs to. So I'm with you there, Alec. I really enjoyed seeing her. Sexy Boy says, I wonder if Kiramager footage will be used in Dino Fury. I highly doubt it. But he says, even if it's just the Rangers watching something or we see a poster, like for me, like a cool little Easter egg poster, I think would be pretty neat, honestly. But that's probably the extent of what I, like, not that what I'm cool with, but like I feel like if they are gonna use anything Kiramager wise, maybe something like that. But I honestly don't see that happening at all. But you know, I can wonder. But yeah, if anything, maybe poster, maybe like a comic book on a comic book stand or something like that. But I wouldn't want like a focus on it. Forever Green, you're having some issues here, Alec, with the comments. Your comments are coming through fine, just fine, it seems like to me. I'm just skimming over everything. I'm not able to get to everybody's comments, so I'm just kind of skimming through everything. Sexy Boy says, do you think when season 3 of Beast Morphers return, we won't have any hiatus? Season 3? What are you talking about? We're still on season 2. AJ, how long have you been watching Power Rangers for, man? You know Power Rangers has 2 seasons, seasons 1 and season 2. So yeah, I'm assuming you mean season 2. Do you think when season 2 of Beast Morphers returns, we won't have any hiatus at least for 2 months? Nick loves giving us hiatus for no reason. Only time we do get one is for the Kids Choice Awards. No, I don't. I mean, once this comes back, I don't see it having another hiatus. I mean, maybe blank for 1 week, but that's really pretty much about it. But I just see these episodes just playing completely through. But you know, there's never a season 3 of these shows, man. Not Ultra says, side note, I know your other Go Buster videos are gone, but I would still like for you to finish your Go Busters reviews, whether it's review style or watch along. You only got 12 episodes to go. Yes, I will be finishing off Go Busters. I am still trying to figure out how I want to do this, though. I probably am going to go along the route of maybe more watch along. Like, I'm wondering if I like this just happened to my YouTube page. I should not be taking chances or risks, but I'm wondering if like in the middle of like the watch along, if I have the timestamp up, right, and we're going through the episode, I'm wondering very much if like I can throw up just a scene for like 10 seconds and take it off. But I almost don't even want to try and do it that way, to be honest with you, just because I just feel like I'm just asking for trouble. You know what I'm saying? If you guys have seen other people do reaction videos for Power Rangers or Super Sentai, how are they doing it? Are they doing it with it on the screen how we used to, or are they doing it similar to sort of our watch alongs? Definitely go ahead and let me know, where we don't have the audio or the video on screen. It's just me reacting and watching it. And then maybe a timer or something like that. Let me know how you guys have seen other videos. If you have seen other reaction videos for Power Ranger stuff, go ahead and let me know. But I'm going to think on that, not Ultra. If anything, maybe I don't know if I'm going to start the Go Buster reviews again this week, but I will be. I will start them up again. Don't worry about that. We also have Common Rider reviews that are going to be starting up next week. Also, we've got Common Rider Saber, Stewart. If some of you who might know from our other videos on APlus Opinions, he does reviews. He did reviews for Legends of Tomorrow, for our Stargirl stuff, and he joins me usually weekly on APlus Hero Report. He's going to be diving into some Common Rider Saber, and probably will be bringing you guys those reviews for APlus Morphinominal. So stay tuned to those starting next week, because yeah, he Stuart will be tackling those for you guys. Let's see here. Sexy Boy says, so refreshing being back on APlus Morphinominal. I felt like being on hiatus for a few months. You and me both. I felt like this has been one gigantic hiatus for me over the past month, to be honest with you. Now Ultra says, I'm thinking that maybe the witch or the sister of the witch will become the final bosses. It all depends on how they are defeated next episode. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see if Minjo pops back up and what happens with Numajo going forward also. Sexy Boy says, if Hasbro and Toei split becomes official, maybe Dino Fury will go all out. That's what I'm kind of assuming. That's kind of what I'm assuming. I think if anything, I wouldn't be surprised if they put maybe just a little bit more money towards this year, maybe another $2 million. They did do a $2 million increase from Beast Morpher season 1 to the second half of Beast Morpher season 2. So I'm hoping that come Dino Fury, instead of 22 million, maybe they'll spend like $24 million and really go sort of all out. That's kind of what I'm hoping that Dino Fury will end up being. Forever Grant says, most people just talk like you do now. That's why I watch Japanime. I'd rather see you and him talk. Well, hey, man, I appreciate that, Alec. I really do, man. Okay, yeah, because I wasn't quite sure. Like I don't recall seeing anybody really doing reaction videos with the videos up there. Probably for good reason, as I came to find out. But I honestly wouldn't mind. I'll try and perfect the watch along aspect of things, and as long as I can do that, then yeah, I'll probably go ahead and bring those back. And if anything, I'll probably not only do that for Super Sentai, but I'm honestly thinking about doing that as well for just Power Rangers in general. Like I'm contemplating the idea of just going back to old Power Ranger seasons and just having these reaction videos, or I don't want to call them necessarily watch alongs, but maybe we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'm thinking I'll still consider the Go Busters and Super Sentai stuff reaction videos, because we're only doing one episode at a time. Whereas the watch alongs for Power Ranger past seasons, I'm probably gonna do a chunk at a time, like 4 or 5 episodes, sort of back to back, and we'll just kind of watch them all movie wise. I may pause in between just to kind of give just my brief thoughts and stuff on the episode, and then we'll just kind of continue through. So Netflix will probably come very in handy for some of those. So yeah, the Power Ranger throwbacks to some of the old seasons will be watch alongs. But yeah, we will continue to do reaction video stuff for Super Sentai, just not on screen, since we're just doing it one episode at a time. But yeah, it should be good. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here today at A+ Morphinominal, kicking off our Monday right with some Kiramager talk. I certainly hope, if you guys haven't had the opportunity to check out this week's episode, sorry I spoiled it for you, but please go ahead and check it out. You certainly will not regret it whatsoever. So definitely go ahead and do that. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, guys. Hit that bell notification along with that thumbs up if you like this video. And if you want to further continue discussion about this week's episode of Kiramager, leave your thoughts in the comment section box below, and we'll certainly go ahead from there, ladies and gentlemen. But until next time, that will certainly do it for us. But so do me a big favor, guys. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you later. Kiramager Chain!